mate.
Sorry, brother, mate. I was just
Sorry, brother?
just fiddling around there. I never knew that Frank Sinatra, That's Life, that David Lee Roth did a version of it.
Who cares?
I care, obviously. I brought it up. That's life. That's life, and I know it.
You've had a big night.
Well, I had to get up and do a charity do. That's what it is. Charity do.
What's going on with you today? You're in a freaky mood.
Late night, early morning.
Late night, early morning. What were you doing up? Where were you? What did you do?
Burley. I was up at Burley Heads. Burley Bears.
The Burley Bears, an excellent club up there.
Yes.
In the QRL.
Old teammate of mine, Damien Driscoll. He runs the club up there. Went up there last night. It was good. Benny Eichen was there. First time I've seen Benny Eichen for a long time. Me and Madge were on stage.
Madge Maguire. Well, we're going to talk about some. Why don't we start now?
Oh, we started. Okay.
Yeah, we've started. The mics are on.
Entrapment.
Yeah, entrapment. We have what you say.
Yes.
How is Madge? Michael Maguire. A lot of press at the moment with a lot of pressure from the Broncos. Lots going on. Reece Walsh boxing his mate. Lots of different stuff. How was Madge?
Madge is okay. No, he's pretty good. I mean, he's been through it all before, and at the end of the day, the Broncos are 5-5. Like, I think because they won that first round so convincingly and just absolutely
expectation went through the roof.
Yep, through the roof, and they got a lot of stuff they got to adjust, but and they'll get there. I think the thing that, and I didn't go into a deep with Madge, but what'd be disappointing is, and it happens when you lose, people start to come out and say, oh, mate, some of the players are unhappy and all the rest of it. And, you know what? Winning solves everything.
Winning does solve everything.
Winning solves everything. Once you get back to winning ways, that all that sort of noise and the criticism and all that starts to die down. But he's been through it all before. He was pretty good, Madge.
Yeah.
He was pretty good, yeah.
What did he seem like it was bothering him or anything? Like, because a lot of the time people go, oh, when players are criticised, people go, you got to remember he's a 22-year-old boy, a lot of that stuff. People forget sometimes coaches, they might be a bit older and experienced, but doesn't mean they are oblivious to feelings,
Yes. I don't think oblivious to feelings is the right term, but yes, they're human.
They're human. They are. They are human, mate.
Yeah. Well, he was pretty good. Actually, as I said before, he's been through it before. I've seen Madge. Madge is not the sort of guy. Look,
to open up.
When Madge could win 20 games in a row, and when you speak to him, it's like his head's going to fall off anyway. He's that type of guy. He's an intense guy. That's what he's a coach. But mate, he's good. He'll I'm not saying like they're not going off a cliff or anything like that, but they're going through a bad patch of form at the moment. They're trying to work things out. He'll get through it.
Well, I think most clubs are going pretty inconsistent this year. Like it's the apart from Bulldogs, really a lot of in Canberra probably, but a lot of clubs are so inconsistent at the moment.
Well, I mean, look, the Bulldogs the other night, Friday night.
Yeah,
I mean that's it.
They get flogged
Thursday
by
night.
the Dolphins.
That's right.
You know what I mean? Like it's.
Geez, the Dolphins were good, by the way.
Dolphins were good, but they've had an inconsistent year too.
Isaiah Katoa.
You love him, mate. You need to stop it, mate.
Settle down.
You love him so much. I'm actually worried about you.
I love him as a player. I just think he's a very, very special player.
He's a good player.
21 years of age, something like that. And when you talk about the best halfbacks in the game, the elite halfbacks in the game, the very best, the creme de la creme, the cream of the crop and the crop of the cream, he's got to be in that discussion.
Can I ask you something, right? And we're going to unpack. We're going to unpack a lot of state of origin.
I hate that word, unpack.
Sorry.
Just say we're going to go through.
We're going to go through a lot of state of origin. Just because you don't like something doesn't mean everyone else has to follow you. By the way,
that's right.
But Isaiah Katoa, let's say Mitch and Nathan Cleary both got long-term injuries, game 2, whatever, game 3. Do you think he'd be ready for state of origin?
Yes, I do. He's just so composed. Every time I see him, he just gets better. His playmaking. The other night, the first half, he controlled the game with his kicking in the wet conditions. Second half, he controlled the game with his guidance and his clever ball playing. Just dominated. So, yeah, and it's funny, isn't it, Coop? Because when you think about state of origin, he's not a name that comes to mind.
No, not really.
But he's eligible. He represents Tonga, but they're a tier 2 nation, so he can play state of origin football. And I reckon Laurie should bring him. They have the extended squad. Bring him into the extended squad.
Yeah. Hey,
I've got to apologise to people too. I am really hungover.
I know. It's
catching up with old mates last night. And
hey, mate. You know what? Like we said about coaches are humans. You're human too. Like I know.
Thanks,
you're a media icon and Aussie legend. But
Yeah, I know.
is that fair thing to say?
That's a fair thing to say.
But that doesn't mean you're not human either. You're allowed to have down days.
Yeah,
right?
I'm not saying it's a down day. I'm just saying that my energy level's a little low and I'm a little cloudy.
Yeah.
I've got the glasses on at the moment just to sort of shield my eyes a little bit.
Yeah. Another shout out, Brandon Smith.
Love Brandon.
Yeah, he's been at the Rabbitohs. I saw Latrell Mitchell during the week and asked him how Cheese is going. He said he's fitting in like a glove. Very easy, very likable to get along with. Says he's really happy at the moment. You spoke to Cheese as well during the week?
I text Cheese and I said, great to see you in the Cardinal and Myrtle. And
What's that?
That's the colours of South Sydney.
Cardinal
and Myrtle.
Oh, right.
Your brother played for the Mighty Bunnies and you don't even know their colours.
Cardinal.
So you're going red and green, don't you?
Red and green.
It's
so what?
Cardinal and Myrtle.
Is that the old school way of saying red and green?
Yeah, it's not a pure red. It's a different, isn't it, Jack? That's right.
Oh, hang on.
Yeah. Yeah, Jacko, help us out.
Nice work there, Cooper. It's a softer red and a softer green, mate.
Yes.
You know?
There it is.
With lighter undertones. Yeah.
We'll just
Yeah,
turn him down. Sorry.
Yeah, it's all
He
right.
was-
Sorry,
we didn't want people to turn off.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, that's handy. You can tell that Wayne Bennett's going to get the best out of it.
Well, I text Cheese. I said, mate, great seeing the Cardinal Myrtle. And he said, mate, I love Wayne. That's what he just come back with.
That's all he said.
And that's people, there's some coaches that just get the best out of players. Craig Bellamy, Wayne Bennett, mate. Like, he's the type of guy that'll thrive under those type of coaches.
Yeah. And Lockie Galvin, that's another big news at the moment, saying that he might leave potentially immediately, right? That's a lot of the reports.
It looks like it's going to be before June 30. Yeah. So
do you think that's if I'm the Bulldogs, I feel like it's a weird buy.
why?
I look at how good they're going this year. Toby Sexton and Burton, I think they are a great pairing. They're both young. Like, you leave those two there together for a 5-year period, they're only going to get better. Now they're going to get Lachlan Galvin, who, in my opinion, is just a younger version of Matt Burton with how he plays.
No, he's
totally
different.
Well, I think their strengths are the exact same. They're running game.
Totally different.
What do you think?
Totally different footballer. It's a tricky one for Gus and Cameron Ciraldo with the Dogs, because it's really important. You've got to shore up the future of your club, and your future roster. But at the same time, they're flying. They're at the moment, and you don't basically want to plan to the future and hurt the present. But this is what you've got to do. And Galvin looks to me as though, and I know Phil Gould counts him as like a once in a generation type player, that sort of talent. And so I know it's hard, it might disrupt things a little bit, but as far as the future's concerned, if you got the ability, if you have the chance to sign Lockie, you just got to sign him. Right. Where they play him, I think they will play him. We'll put it this way: I think the next 18 months for Lockie, that he will be in the halves. He'll be a 6 Coops, but long term, I see him as the 13.
But the question I wanted to ask you, because you said you think they're different players, they both play as a 5'8", as a running 5'8". How do you think that dynamic would work then? Matt Burton and Lockie Galvin as halves. Like, how does that work?
They wouldn't play together. I don't think they play together in the halves.
So because they're too similar.
No, because neither of them are pure 7. That it would. I still maintain you do need someone who's a pure 7 or more of a natural 7 than those two blokes. Burton for me he's a 6/3/1, possibly 13. But I see him in an outside back /6. I see Lockie Galvin as a 6/13. Right, he's a play through the line type player. He's going to be when he pops and starts to fill out, mate. He's going to be robust, short ball playing, handful. But neither of them are 7s, and this is why it's going to be interesting. If they do land Galvin, it's going to be very interesting what they do with Sexton, because they haven't signed Toby yet.
Yeah.
And I'm looking and I'm thinking, okay, how can you fit them all in? But I think to bring Lockie into that squad and get rid of Toby Sexton would be a mistake.
Yeah.
I still think you need that pure 7. I don't see Matty Burton and I don't see Lockie Galvin wearing a 7 comfortably.
Yeah. No, I agree. A lot of the reports have been Burton playing 1 this week that has come out, saying that Burton to 1 and Galvin and Sexton is the combination. which I mean could potentially work. I think Connor Tracy's. He fits into their mold very well.
So this is what we're talking about. When you bring a player in, the level, just that subtle disruption that happens. Like suddenly, like Toby Sexton, I've been looking at Toby in the last 6 weeks going, man, what's going through his head?
Yeah.
Everyone's talking about Galvin going there and he not being re-signed and being on the outer. And I think, what's going through Toby's head? And he's been able to compartmentalise and actually do really good. But, it's interesting. But I think they've become the favourites to sign Galvin. I mean, it's always been Parramatta or the Dogs. Conspiracy theory last week that the Roosters were in for Galvin, but that would be an all-time, like, out of left field, even by the Roosters standards to do that. I think it's either going to be Parramatta or the Bulldogs. I think you'll go the Bulldogs.
Okay. And the last sort of story that's floating around, Trent Robinson went whack on the Newcastle Knights last week about the Dom Young situation. What are you hearing about Dom Young? Do you think he'll go this year still?
I think he'll be there in 2 weeks.
2 weeks,
Newcastle. Wow. I think the Roosters play the Knights in a couple of weeks' time.
Yep.
My understanding is Dom will be a Rooster when that game's take place. He might not be on the field. He might not be in the first grade side, but he will be a Rooster up until full time. At full time, the thing that I've heard is that he will be at the Knights the week after that.
Yeah, wow.
So it's Roosters versus Knights. Take it as given. The next day he'll be at the Knights.
It's been a weird relationship. I think Dom played very well last year. Obviously, for whatever reason, he was dropped this year. Obviously, they didn't think he was playing that well. Do you think it'll be a good buy for the Knights going back there?
Feel free to burp in the microphone.
Sorry.
No problem, mate.
Do you think it'll be a good buy?
Yeah, good buy. Very, very good.
Yeah, okay.
It works, mate. It works well. He gives them a lot of punch coming out. Him and Schiller's been he's a good player, Schiller, but that 1-2 combination of Greg Marzou and Dom Young coming out of trouble, that 1-2 punch is very, very good. And, and he's some sort of finisher, but he's a big personality up there. Like, it was a big loss for the club. Like, I reckon the best image I've seen of the Newcastle Knights in the last 20 years is that Canberra game. That finals game when he's running down that right-hand touchline.
Yeah, he was a fan favourite.
The crowd were just going, Matt. It was just some great shots.
Yeah. There's some cult heroes. Like he reminds you of like a Wendell Sailor for the Broncos, Adam McDougall for Newcastle.
Yep.
That real fan favourite. People get around him.
Yep.
So good to see Dom Young if he goes back there in a couple of weeks.
He'll be back there. It'll be good to welcome him back to the bosom of the Novocastrian bosom.
Yes.
Talking about Novocastrians, I ran into I was going through the airport and the Swans were there and ran into
Isaac Heaney.
Isaac Heaney.
Yes.
Old Novocastrionde.
Yeah, that's
fellow
right.
Novocastrian.
How was he?
He was good.
Had you met him before?
I met Lockie at a Melbourne Cup.
Isaac. Yeah.
Oh my God.
You're all over the place.
I'm all over the place. Yeah, no, I met Isaac a couple of years ago at the Melbourne Cup. But
okay.
Good to see him today. He's good, mate.
Good looking fella.
29. He's played a long time. He's 29 because he was a rugby league player coming through. He's from Black Hill.
Yeah.
Black Hill it's probably 15 minutes from Newcastle. It sits sort of in between, near Maitland and Rutherford and Hexham, around that area. So he's a Black Hill boy.
Yeah.
Parents still live up that way. So,
good on him. He's a good player. Jeez, he's a good player. Good looking too.
Good. He's good looking.
Good strapping young lad.
He's a good looking chap.
And we know he loves the podcast, so shout out to Isaac.
Shout out Isaac. Good
or
on you,
Lockie, whatever you want to call him. All right, State of Origin. Before we go through the teams, Matthew, you played 3 State of Origin games.
4.
Did you play 4?
Yeah.
How many did you win?
Oh, forget none.
No, 0%.
Yeah.
It's all right. You and Craig Bellamy got a very similar win rate.
Yeah, we had. That's right.
Yeah. What about your first Origin experience? What was that like? A lot of the boys who are in there now, a lot of debutants who are going to be playing. What's it experience like as a first Origin?
Cooper, I reckon when you're playing Origin, form is really important, but also not just form, but I reckon the type of game you play leading into that Origin game is really important. And what I mean by that is until you played State of Origin, you've never experienced like pace and intensity like it.
Yeah, fatigue.
You get there, like it's just full on. And so what happened to me? In 1995, there was the ARL Super League split, right? And they were telling me that if the Super League players weren't going to be selected, Andrew and I were going to be the halves. About 6 weeks out from Origin, I did my knee, did a PCL and a medial, and was out for like 5-6 weeks. And my game that I came back against the Warriors the week before the Origin, and I was rusty, but basically, I never realised how rusty I was because we beat them by 50 points.
Yeah.
Like we put the cleaners through the Warriors. It was one of the best wins to that point in the club's history. We just rolled through them. And, you know, and when you're swimming, along in the slipstream, and it's like things are just working out for you, and you actually don't realise, like that easy win's probably covered up for me how rusty I was and how much I needed a little bit more of a hit out. Anyway, so we get there and we sit down, we go, it was myself and Andrew, we're at Mum and Dad's house, and we had no idea if we were going to be picked or not. All they said that was there was going to be a press conference, and it led the 6 o'clock news. Channel 9 News started the 6 o'clock news. And went, okay, let's go straight to RL headquarters they're going to announce the State of Origin side. Now, we were told that if the Super League players were going to be named, then Ricky and Laurie were going to be the halves. If they weren't going to be named, then Andrew and I are going to be the halves. Now, as they're about to read out the first name, if they were going to read out Brett Mullins at fullback, it meant all the Super League players were going to be in. If they read out Tim Brasher, it meant it was no Super League ARL players. So we're sitting in front of the box. Ken Arthurs and John Quayle go through the rigmarole, blah, 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 blah. And we go, come on, just fucking say the side, play the side.
Yeah.
About 5 minutes ago, okay, now the announcement of the side. And Ken Arthurs goes, okay, New South Wales State of Origin side, number 1. And we're going, wait. Tim Brasher, which meant.
So that's how so they didn't ring you prior? They didn't tee you up?
No.
Wow. That's bizarre, right?
Nah. I think what it was, Coop, they didn't want to, because the Super League war, they didn't want to let it to get out that they weren't going to select. So it was a complete surprise.
Yeah.
And then Gus rang, and I spoke to Gus. We went down into camp, and that first camp, man, I tell you, Coop, you talk about, like, not regrets, but, you know, you learn your lesson. That week, it was a 10-day build-up into the game. And every single day they had me and Joey doing media because, you know, brothers, the Blues Brothers, all that stuff. We had to come out to Newcastle and shoot an ad for Ream Hot Water, all that. But, mate, by the time the game came around, I was exhausted. Yeah. Like, I felt like, I was spent. And
they do a good job now. Obviously, I was in there a lot last week. Monday and Tuesday, it's heavy media for the boys. Like, they're doing so much. Channel 9, Fox, or like, you know, your KOs, Sport, like a lot of different brands and stuff. And then kind of come training time Wednesday, most of the media's all done, so they kind of protect them from it. You have a week of all prep, which is good. But I imagine back in those days, there would have just been every day there would have been something, right?
Helter-skelter. It was, So we got that first game, Coop, and they beat us 2-0.
Wow.
You know, so you go from a game, you're beating the Warriors by 50 points at home, and then on a dry Sunday afternoon, and then you're playing a night game, State of Origin, slippery conditions. It was just 2-0. 2-0.
So just a penalty goal.
Penalty goal.
Wow. That's is that the lowest score ever in State of Origin history? Probably, right?
Yeah, I think definitely.
Unless it was 0-0.
And it's funny, I went through a few. I played the third game that series, and that's where I started to get the handle of how you prepare for those games.
Yeah.
Because and from that first game, I learned a lot about preparation when you played, not so much for the Origin, because I only played a couple more, but playing for the Australian side, going away in World Cups, learned how to prepare. In the fact that whatever I did to prepare when I played for Newcastle, I did the same from then on for the rep teams. You do your extras and everything like that. But it's funny with State of Origin, Coop. The last State of Origin game I played, my fourth State of Origin game, fourth and final, I wasn't named in the side. I played the first game in 98, and then he played about 10 minutes off the bench in game one, and I made way. Lazo came in for me. And if you're going to get replaced by someone, Glenn Lazarus, pretty good bloke.
Pretty good.
Yeah. Anyway, so game 3, I'm not named, and it was a split round for us at Newcastle. So it was a Wednesday night game, and so it was on Tuesday night. A few of the boys rang me and said, "What are you doing?" "Oh, we're going to go and get a meal, and go and have a few beers." So I went and had a Thai meal, and we're having a few beers, have about 6 or 7 beers. Go home that night. Anyway, I get a call 10:30 that night. Laurie Daly and Joey. I said, "Mate, Tubes was really crook. Tubes was hooker at that point. Jeff Tuvey, he's really, really crook. Mate, if he's crook in the morning, can't play, mate. We're just going to let you know, mate. Get yourself ready because we're going to put your name up. be a hooker. And I'm thinking to myself, oh, fuck, I hope not. Because, man, I was pissed.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had like a massive feed, like a green curry, a red curry, and a dozen beers in my belly.
How good's green curry? Oh, it's wonderful. So good.
Yeah.
With the coconut rice?
Gorgeous.
Yeah, so good.
Anyway, Coop, so I get up in the morning and I'm thinking to myself, it's Tubes. Like, how tough Tubes is.
Yeah,
Sweet.
yeah.
Wake up in the morning, get a call from Joey. Hey, mate, Tommy's going to call you. Mate, I think Tubes is out. I'm like, oh, fuck, okay, no worries. So I'm trying to sweat off this hangover. Then Tommy rings me and goes, hey, Skippy, how you going? Joey was Joey, and he called me Skippy for whatever reason. Skippy, mate, Tubes is out. Mate, you're in. You got to be down here within an hour. I said, Tommy, I'm in fucking Newcastle. He goes, mate, I don't care. I need you. Okay, I need you here by 12:30. It was like 10 o'clock. I need you by 12:30. If you're not here by 12:30, mate, I'm going to fine you. I'm like, not even in the fucking side, right? So anyway, they went. So Jeff Carr calls me, the manager, and goes, mate, get to Newcastle Airport, Belmont Airport. Mate, there's a plane there, there's a ticket, and get down here, get straight. Yep, no problem. So I get to the airport about a bit after 11:30 flight. John's, blah, blah, blah. They go, okay, just checking here. Oh, no, there's nothing here. I went, oh, okay. So I ring Tommy. Hey, Tommy, mate, where are you? Where the fuck are you? Mate, I'm still at Newcastle Airport. What are the fucking doing there? I said, oh, mate, I'm about to get on the flight, but there's no ticket for me. I don't give a fuck, mate. Just buy a ticket. We'll sort it out. Yeah, no worries. Go to buy a ticket. So the plane's full. Oh, fuck. Call Tommy. Hey, Tommy, mate, the plane's full. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck, Skippy. You and I are down here by 12:30, mate. I'm going to fucking find you. And I'm standing there and I'm thinking, fucking, how am I going to get down? The pilot comes past and goes, oh, g'day, Matty. How you going? I said, oh, you're right. He goes, mate, is there a problem here? I said, fuck, you wouldn't believe it. I just got named in the Origin side. I've got to be down there within an hour. And there's no seats on the plane. He goes, oh, fuck, okay. Just walk with me. Walk down. Anyway, they get me on the plane. I've got no ticket or anything, and I sit on the floor in the cockpit between the two pilots.
That has to be illegal, right? What time did you get down there?
Got down there, arrived at 12:15, jumped in a cab, went straight to the hotel, was 15 minutes late, and he fined me $500. He did.
How much did you get paid for Origin back in those days?
I think you got $3,000.
$3,000. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it's still pretty good, right?
Yeah, $3,000.
Jesus, that's a tough. You know what I used to love? You sparked my memory before when you sit down as a kid and watch as they announce the side. They got to bring that back. Right now, they just post it on sort of their Instagram, on social media. It comes out.
Yeah.
But they got to do the live announcement again. I think it was. I remember as one of my favourite memories of State of Origin. Excited during the week, you'd all write your team list and you'd sit down there as a family and you'd have your 1 to 17 and see if it matched up as the same as they'd announce it.
Yep.
I think there's got to be something where they bring it back.
I do,
because social media, it just pops up on your Instagram or something now. And it has
I agree. They could. Well, I've always said on State of Origin night, I reckon they should bring more theatre to it. Yeah. I reckon they should turn the lights off in the stadium, because these days the lights in the stadium come back on in about 5 minutes. I'd dim the lights in the stadium and introduce the players one by one.
Yeah.
Mate, it'd be crazy.
I used to love the junior club thing too, where the boys would turn around, cross their arms. Those are Cooper Johns, Narrowinner Hawks, Harbord Devils, and Avalon Bulldogs. Because I played for 3 clubs in juniors.
You did.
All right, I've got a few of the teams. Before we actually go off, I wanted to ask you, being dropped in State of Origin.
Yeah,
you got dropped, obviously.
Uh-huh.
Do you get teed up when you get dropped, or do they just drop you? Like, do you just, when they read the next thing and they say, oh, and you just notice online that you're not in the side?
First time I got dropped, Robert Finchy was my old coach, but he was football manager at the Knights at that point. And he just walked in, and there were the 4 of us. There was Chief, myself, Joey, Adam Muir, might have been one of the other boys. Anyway, we walk in, we're all standing together, and he goes, hey, boys, I've just got the team for game 2. We went, yep, sweet. And he looked at Chief and went, yep, sweet. Joey, yes, sweet. Hertzy, yeah, sweet, mate. And looked at me. He just looked at me and I looked at him and he just went, sorry, mate.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
damn.
it's rough.
Disappointing? Were you off? Like, did you ride that? Did that hurt you? Or
it did hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah, it did hurt. It's embarrassing.
So was that story with Tommy Rodonicus, was that your last Origin?
Yeah, last Origin.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. And do you know what, Coops? That was the best Origin I'd ever played.
Yeah.
And it says a lot about mindset, about, they say mind over matter. And the mental is more important than the physical. That is evidence of it, mate, because that was, in theory, the worst possible preparation I could have had. Went out there the night before, had a big meal, had about a dozen beers, woke up hungover, day of the game, had to fly down there, sit on the floor on an aeroplane between the pilots and the cockpit to get down there and play. But I just didn't think about it. I just went there and did it, and it was the best Origin game I played.
It's funny, right? Like, so many players, Cameron Munster's a good example of him. You could tell him on the Monday, and he's someone who doesn't really he's a thinker, but he doesn't overthink.
Yeah.
So the best thing for him, he just gets out there. He could think all week, but when he gets out there, everything flushes off him.
Yeah, yeah.
A bloke, like, I would have loved to have found out almost in the warm-up, like someone goes down and they go, you're in, so you don't have any time to think. I remember Darren Schonig at the Melbourne Storm, people might remember him.
Yeah.
He played a bit of first grade. He found out, like, he was 18th man, someone went down the warm-up, he debuted at Canberra, GIO Stadium, and he was like, he was a big overthinker, and he played outstanding, he played good off the bench, but you can see why coaches protect players sometimes by waiting right up until game day to let them know that they're going to debut.
Yep.
Protect them from themselves.
That is true, Coops. That's true. And I mean, and we're talking about like the mental being more important than the physical. As someone was telling me recently, LeBron James, about 4 or 5 years ago, he just made the decision, you know what, I'm actually going to enjoy my life. Like, apparently he'd have a bottle of red every night.
Really?
LeBron James, yep, and just play because he's done it for so long.
Wow. There's rumors that go around that Ray Stone has a drink of like rum or something the night before a game. Has about 6 rumbos.
It would not surprise me.
I don't know if that's 100% true, but there's a rumor going around that boys up there say, yeah, mate, he has a drink the night. He looks like a tough hombre.
He does. He does.
Scary man.
Well, I've heard stories about blokes that, back in the day, in particular, like your pop, when your pop went from, when he was only young, he went from Curry to Cessnock in the local competition. Your pop, mate, Pop was renowned as one of the best young players in the whole Newcastle coming through in the 70s. Like, he was gunplay, your Pop. And I think he was just about the youngest bloke to ever debut for the Curry Bulldogs in first grade, right? He was about 17. Now, Curry is a very famous club. I mean, it's produced the most rugby league nationals of like any town in Australia. Incredible heritage. And your Pop was like, mate, one of their best juniors coming through. In fact, the reason why Pop went from Curry to Cessnock is because they bought a guy in his position, a fella called Johnny Raper. Who was an immortal. They bought Johnny Raper to Curry, and he went, okay, he's going to take my spot. So he was a 13. He went to Cessnock.
Yeah, right.
And when Dad went to Cessnock, he said the first game he played, he was like, the players went, okay, what we're going to do? We're going to meet at the Wentworth Hotel pub at on the main street there, which was a bit of a walk, about probably a 5-minute walk to the ground. We meet there before lunchtime for the game, and then we head to the game. Like, okay, no worries. When Dad turned up, they were drinking middies.
The day of the game.
The day of the game. They were drinking. This is early 70s. He said the players were all at the bar, had 3 or 4 middies, and then walked to the game and played.
I love the old school. Even that like makes me, like blokes like Johnny Raper who are playing. Essentially now we look at it like bush footy, but back then it's like you could be playing that footy and get picked for State of Origin and stuff, right?
Yep.
Like it's bizarre how you didn't actually need to be at like an NRL club to be playing State of Origin.
Jake Duke's Jake's uncle, or it might be his grandfather, Phil Duke. He played State of Origin out of Moree. I think it was Moree. He's playing Moree and Boomerangs. Got picked. He played for Country First and got picked. And the other guy was a guy in Newcastle called Rex Wright. Rex played hooker for North's Newcastle. Had a good game for Country First and got picked for State of Origin.
Wow.
So it used to happen, yeah.
It's weird. Okay, team list. So we'll go through there. We'll read it out. 1 to 17. Dylan Edwards, Brian Toto, Stephen Crichton, Latrell Mitchell, Zach Lomax, Mitchell Moses, Nathan Cleary. Forwards, Mitch Barnett, Reece Robson, Payne Haas, Liam Martin, Angus Crichton, Isaiah Yeo, the bench, Connor Watson, Spencer Lenu, Hudson Young, Max King, and our man Stretch Armstrong, Campbell Graham, 18th man.
Yep.
A good side. What were your thoughts when the first announced the side?
Beautifully balanced side. It's a great side. I really like it. There might have been, a change here or there, but mate, I look at that side and it just gives me supreme confidence.
Do you think there'll be any like funny game, like anyone who won't start or anything like that?
I don't think so. Coops. It's not Laurie's style and it's not Bellyache style. I think, mate, they've got their team. They're not going to try to play mind games with Queensland or with their players. There's the side. They'll get out there and win.
I will say it is Bellyache style. Bellyache does that a lot.
Does he?
Yep. Used to love a mind game. I'll name you at when in COVID, when they moved it from like you had to name an 18 or a 19 to 21 because people could go down. He's like, I'll name you at 21 this week so they don't think you're playing. He do that so much with boys. He did it with Harry when they lost to the Sharks. So he named Harry at 21 so that they would prepare. Gotcha. Sharks coach would have to prepare for two players. He does it so the opposition coaches have to cut footage for multiple different players.
So the opposition coach goes, son of a bitch.
Yeah,
okay, here we go.
He loves it.
Yeah.
I think he actually overthinks it sometimes. He did something with Tyron Wishart one time. I'm trying to remember what it was. I remember Wishy ringing me and goes, mate, Bellyache's taking mind games to a whole new level. To the point it was nearly mind gaming Wishy. Wishy was like, am I playing? Which he had no idea. He was like, I actually don't know if I'm playing this week.
Oh, that's good.
Queensland side, Kalen Ponga, Xavier Coates and Valentine Holmes on the wing, Robert Toya, Hamaso Tabuai-Fido, Munster, Cherry Evans, Mo Fodawaker, Tino in the front row with Harry Grant, our man, Ruben Cotter, Jeremiah Nanai back row, Patrick Carrigan at lock, the bench, Tom Dearden, Lindsay Collins, Bo Firma, Trent Liero, debutant, and 18th killer, Kurt Mann.
Yep.
It's a bloody good side too. They had a lot of injuries too. But
two great sides.
Two
great sides. You can see with our side, I can see the formula they're going at and how they'll play. With Queensland, I don't see the formula. I don't know how they're going to play, which is actually perfect for them.
Yeah.
They'll play Munster ball, which is like unorthodox. I mean, the thing about it is like you got Munster and Kalen there, Harry. And DCE, if he can hit top form, mate, that's a very, very strong spine.
All the money's with New South Wales, right? And I think given a lot of rugby league is covered in New South Wales by the media, so all the chat has been, and this happens every year. New South Wales get all the media. We hype them up. We go, we're going to win. We're going to win. We're going to win. No one talks about Queensland at all.
I know.
And then they go out and they shock us a little bit.
Yeah.
All the money's been with New South Wales, but you look at that spine. With Kalen Ponga and Cameron Munster out there alone, they're two blokes that if they go out there and play a 10 out of 10, 9 out of 10, which they're so capable of doing, they can win the game on their own. That's what probably we don't have in the spine.
Yep.
And they've two X factors that can win a game single-handedly.
Coops, let's get straight to the meat of the sandwich here, right? Let's talk about let's go not dilly-dally. Let's talk about who we think will win and why.
Yep.
For me, I'm really bullish on New South Wales. I've got supreme confidence, and I don't say that, being a New South Welshman and being biased in any way, shape, or form, because there's plenty of times there that I've tipped Queensland, right? When it comes to talking about State of Origin, watch it. Like I'll be honest with you, right? Like I remember Madge last year. He spoke to me leading into the series. He said, "Oh, Matty, we're going to try to get some people who are former Blues players to come to camp and all the rest of it." I said, "Madge, I'll just stop you there, mate." I said, "Look, I am not an ultra passionate Blues man. I'm just not. You know what I mean? And and say of that what you will, but I can't lie. I'm not going to get here and just go, mate, I'm not going to absolutely tear myself apart and agonise if they get beat. First and foremost, I watch the game as a lover of the sport, right? And I admire the players, but I'm not going to sit here straight away and just go, mate, I'm going to be blue because of the fact I play for New South. It's not how I work.
I hate that. I hate watching the coverage, and you've got two Blues there, two Maroons there, and they both it's just biased opinion.
Yeah.
I think it's a beauty of thing where you just look at the game itself, you look at the players, and just be completely objective. If you just because you played for the Blues doesn't mean you can't say I think Queensland are going to win the series. You can't do that.
That's right.
But there's so many objective people because they are blue through and through, and some of them might even be employed by the Blues, so they feel like they have to. But
well, see what it is, Coop. It's the way it is with football clubs as well. Like Blake asked me, and I think I've said this before on the podcast. He said, "Mate, still love the Knights." I went, "You know what? It's hard. Football clubs change. It's not the same club that when you were there. What do I love, mate? I love my teammates. I love pulling the jersey. I love the city. I love the fans. The club's different.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's different. It's like it is now. So when I look at State of Origin, look at a game, I look at it objectively and go, right, who I think is going to win. And I've said before, when me and Joey fell out, is the fact that in that series, without being a smart ass, I knew Queensland were going to win that series. I just knew. I looked at the side they picked, the dynamic of the side and everything else that they're going to win. This series, I see nothing but New South Wales.
Why is that? I just sort of...
Quality of the side, quality of the individuals in the side, but also the dynamic of the side. It just fits perfectly. The Rubik's Cube, it works. And the reason is, Coops, is if we can just do one thing, New South Wales. If New South Wales can consistently get Nathan Cleary into position for attacking kicks consistently through the game, we'll win. Because his kicking game, it produces points and it builds pressure on an opposition. Give him enough attacking kicks. He's basically, give him 10 attacking kicks. You're back into probably, pick up 3 or 4 or 5 repeat sets and a couple of tries from his attacking kicks. So what New South Wales has to do, don't have to be too fancy. Don't worry about doing this and blah blah blah. At the brass tacks, the bottom line is we just got to win the yardage game. Win the yardage game, get Nathan into position for attacking kicks at the end of every set of 6, and we win the football game. We can do that regularly, okay, or consistently with Nathan, put him in that position, we win. Okay, so that's the first thing. That's what we have to do to win the football game.
Yep.
What gives me confidence that we're going to put him in position all the time for attacking kicks regularly is the fact that you look at our yardage men. Now, I'm not talking about the forwards, right? I'm not even talking about Payne Haas here. Like, Payne is almost the icing on the cake. Look at our back three. Our back three, the combination is Edwards, To'o, Zach Lomax. Yeah. You do not get a better yardage combination than those 3 blokes.
No.
When the arm wrestle's on, I reckon our forwards won't even need to handle the football. They will go, it'll be Edwards, To'o, Zach Lomax, maybe To'o again or Edwards again, kick out of trouble and away they go.
Yeah.
Now that'll take so much stress off our forwards, our big guys, and again, it'll just put us into position constantly for attacking kicks.
Yeah, I'm with you. I had New South Wales winning game 1 up at Suncorp. That is the defining factor, I think.
Yeah.
But our back three will, if like on paper, does a way better job in terms of workload and how they're going to carry the football back. Kalen's not a known sort of kick returner for that sense. His presence is his X factor with the footy, which is going to be his sort of game breaker. But I think our back three is going to just relieve so much pressure on the forwards.
On our back three, what's going to be really crucial, Coops, for Zach Lomax. Zach sometimes can be, I watch him, and this is perfectly normal. Most of his focus is on attack. He's carrying the football and stuff. He works his ass off. But occasionally I see him, he switches off in defence. Like he's almost exhales, all the work he does in defensively. Billy will go at Zach consistently. They will just go at him. Because what happens sometimes with Zach, when he loses focus in defence, he disconnects himself from his centre.
Yeah.
And he tucks too much. And I think it was game 1 last year, or might have been the series before. Billy just kept going there through Hammer, and they just kept finding him out. They'll go there again.
Yeah.
They'll send Kalen around there on those sweep shapes going at him. So Zach's just going to be on his game.
And this is going to sound a little technical for people, so I'll try to explain it as best as I can here. There was a game last year when it might have been Zach Lomax's first game. Because he chases kicks a lot and they kick for him, try to use him in that sense. When it is time to defend, he probably tries to get his breath back a little bit.
Yeah, that's it.
And I knew that Queensland, chatting to a few of the Queensland boys, they had a bit of a plan around, because Billy's quite good as a fullback. He knows that how to exploit the back three in terms of trying to kick 40-20s and trying to find space with the kicking game, so they can't catch it on the full. And they knowing that Zach Lomax does a lot of work with his kick chase, he probably doesn't think about getting back to shut down 40-20 opportunities. Daly Cherry Evans, They identified that, and there was a 4 tackle where he went and kicked a 40-20.
Yep.
Because they knew he'd just chased a few. He was tired.
Yep.
So I have no doubt that they'll be looking to exploit that again this year.
Zach will have, I reckon, probably in the mid-20s as far as carries. He'll work his ass off, but it's just so vitally important that, mate, when he gets back to his edge defensively, he doesn't switch off. They will just go at him relentlessly.
Yeah.
So what do we think? What do you reckon?
I've got New South Wales 20-18.
Yep.
What have you got? What's your score?
I've got New South Wales 26-12.
Wow, you got them comfortably.
I'm bullish. I'm really bullish on
Wow,
this.
I've never seen you this confident because I'm a bit worried about Queensland.
Yeah.
I think they got fire in their belly, and I think that you know how much that jersey means to them.
Of course.
And each player has such a point to prove. Munster wasn't there last year. Cherry's got a lot of stuff going on, and that he wants to shut a lot of people up.
Yep.
Harry's Harry.
Harry Houdini. Tino.
Can I ask you just two more points I want to bring up to you? Whose spine do you rate as better? Like if you were coaching a team, let's say you were coaching not New South Wales, Queensland, you were coaching ACT, and ACT said you get to pick the spine of Queensland or New South Wales. Who you picking? Because in my opinion, I'm picking Queensland. That spine.
I like New South Wales.
You like New South Wales spine?
I like New South Cleary.
I think the one thing
Cleary,
for me,
mate.
the one thing that for me that ticks it over is Harry. I think everyone else is kind of pretty even.
Sure.
And then Harry in my opinion is just out and out the best hooker by a country mile in the NRL.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. But I just love Cleary. It's Cleary's time.
Yeah.
It's Cleary's time.
Last thing I want to ask you, the big matchup, Robert Toya versus Latrell Mitchell.
Yeah.
Robert Toya, shout out to him, 10 games. He's been
Well
picked
done.
in the centres by Billy Slater. He's probably going to be, this is probably the biggest moment of his career so far easily, coming up against probably the most damaging centre in the NRL, Latrell Mitchell. How do you see that matchup going?
Well done, mate, to Robert Toya too. Mate, 10 games, hell of a footballer. And the fact that Billy's picked him says he's ready. People say, is he ready to go? Well, Billy picked him. Billy's so thorough. He doesn't pick someone that's not ready.
Yeah,
He's ready to go. Coops, it's a little bit like a lot of the presence of Latrell. I liken it to a young boxer stepping into the ring with Muhammad Ali. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When he's out there, Robert, he'll stand opposite, he'll look against Latrell, and I'll just like, that's one of those, you don't get a lot of those one-on-one encounters a lot in the game these days, but centres you do. You just, you're in that 10-metre corridor for the whole game just staring at each other. And there'll be times that he'll be looking across going, that's fucking Latrell Mitchell.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and Latrell, mate, early in the game will try to get an early carry and just, try to break his confidence a little bit. It's just important. Like for Toya, he's just got to get up and get Latrell's face. But it's going to be it's a great clash, and that's the other thing gives me great confidence. Coop, Latrell Mitchell, Stephen Crichton. It's June Miles, Mal Meninga. I mean, those two blokes when you look at those blokes on the team sheet, again, it's not one on paper. Victor is on grass, but they just got great presence. It's a great side.
Oh, bloody hell. It's a cool moment, in my opinion, not since probably 2018, I believe it was, when it's like Latrell Mitchell up against Will Chambers, who was kind of the best. It was almost like a passing of the baton on when Latrell started to sort of dominate in the NRL, particularly at origin level. He was a real handful, gave Chambers a rough night a couple times. But Chambers at that time was just edging the end of his career, and he was one of the best players in the NRL. Now it's like it feels a very similar kind of matchup. You got the older bull against the young up and comer Robert Toya.
Well, Coop, I tell you, I'm a little bit scratchy, mate.
I was watching you the whole time, looking at the time, just wanting to wrap up. It's
mate,
right.
Enjoyed it. Enjoy the origin. 26-12. New South Wales first try scorer Zach Lomax off a kick from Nathan Cleary, man of the match. Nathan Cleary.
New South Wales 20-18. Nathan Cleary, man of the match. First try scorer, in my opinion. Here's a bit of value for you.
Yeah.
Angus Crichton.
Oh,
Boys.
like it.
Right
Good.
on.